All right. Hey, look. We're in. All right. Cool. Okay. I'm going to try something a little different. I've got you on a smaller tripod so I can move the camera around maybe a little bit closer. So, where we last left off yesterday during the live stream, I connected the 18-volt main, I put it on a switch, and then I took it to the bus bar. Just so everyone knows, this is a modular control unit that a lot of people who are building R2 units 3D print, and then they populate with all the necessary electronics that are needed to control R2. So this is the power side, and on this side is the brains. This is the motor controller for the leg motors, and I have another motor controller for the dome, and then we have audio, and then I have Arduino Mega 2560 that serves as a brain. It's running Shadow RC 1.0. I don't have the hardware to support the second version of Shadow RC, but this seems to be working for the most part. Before I took this out of R2, the dome was spinning, and the lights on the dome were working, and the sounds were working, and they were all being triggered by the... Where are the remotes? Oh, they're somewhere. Oh, here they are. I've got a pair of these Apis Queen 6-channel remotes, so these are working just fine. The only thing I didn't have done is I hadn't connected up the motor controller for the legs. So you're probably wondering what all these little brass standoffs are for. They're there to support these 3D printed, I guess, bar elements, for lack of better terms. That allows me to actually work on the 12-volt side without crushing any of the connectors on, I guess, the data side, if you want to call it that. So, yeah, so that's the modular control unit. You're probably wondering why I'm having to rebuild this. I went into this yesterday during the live stream. I ended up getting wire through Amazon, and it was PVC jacketed bonded wire of various gauges. It's not great stuff. It works in a pinch, but it's garbage. It work hardens really easily. There's not enough strands within the wire itself. It's just garbage wire. Again, it works well in a pinch if you want to quickly set up something, but I ended up getting some high quality wire through Studica.ca here in Canada. It's silicone bonded wire of different gauges. It's a lot more flexible. It's got a lot more what do you call the inside of this? Cores? So it's a lot better to work with. One of the questions that I had yesterday I asked the question, hey, because I'm doing a lot of like tinning of ends of wires, and I thought, hey, you know, it would be kind of cool to have like some sort of molten bath where I can just basically dip the wire in after it gets fluxed. And I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole this morning, and turns out it's called a what is it called? It's called a solder melting pot, I believe, or dipping pot. And you can get it on Amazon. It comes in various sizes for like $30 or something like that. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that because I want to work on this today. So what I ended up doing, and I'm not going to take credit for this, this little thing. I ended up getting it at Home Depot. It's just a wire lug that you find in their wire department. And what it does, it allows me to actually temporarily connect it to this smaller soldering iron that I happen to have. And what that does is that it creates a tiny little pot that you can melt solder in and then dip your dip your wire in, and it's great. It works well. The only tricky part is to do it quickly, because the longer you leave the wire in that molten state, um, the bigger of a gob of solder that ends up at the end of the wire, which is not great. So I'll definitely be using this during the live stream. So we'll just put this over here out of the way. There. That seems to be working. All right. Let's take this apart. Oh, I put these on temporarily just to show what the power side is going to look like once everything is done. I wonder if I can move that camera. Let's see here. Let's see if we can get a better shot of what I'm doing. Oh, yeah, something else I noticed. When I published the video, it was flipped. So it didn't say Canada on my shirt, and when I was using the screwdriver, it looked backwards. So I'm wondering if that's something that I need to fix in post. Anyways, let's move you around. Sorry if this is making you sick. Or actually, hold on for a sec. All right, let's here. If I can keep it down. So you can see what I'm working on. Whoa! Oops. I figures I almost dropped it. Okay, hold on. There. Oh, I see what I did. Hold on. I have to leave the stream and come back. Something's not right. Oh. No. Oh, there he goes. There we go. Sorry about that. All right. There we go. All right. So just as a recap, I got power going into the 18-volt bus bar. That's going to be split up into a whole bunch of areas. Today, what I'm going to try and do is try and get the 18 to 5-volt buck converter connected and the 18 to 12-volt buck converter connected. Yeah, I think that's achievable. And keeping expectations low, because yesterday did not work. But anyways. Oh yeah, these are fuse boxes that are going to be used to power certain subsystems. This is the 5-volt fuse box, and this one will be the 12-volt. And we'll take off these switches. Okay, and this one. Okay. All right. Now, yesterday's live stream, I ended up having to replace the wire that I ended up doing yesterday. It was just too short. It was putting too much strain on this main connector. So I ended up making the wire 4 inches longer, and I'm sure I'll be able to use that 12 gauge wire somewhere else. I also cleaned up a lot of the extraneous wire that's not really needed. There's a dome motor connector up here. And these are for speakers. This will be for the right leg and this will be for the left leg. And power comes in through here. And the power is switched first and then it goes to the 18-volt bus bar. These orange wires, these are signal wires for the receivers. I got 2 receivers for the Apple Queen remotes and various other locations on the data side for signal wires. So I've got some coming in for the leg motor controller and the dome motor controller. Anyways, so this looks like a lot easier to work in because I'm not fighting already existing wires. I don't really want to take these wires apart just yet. These wires are for providing power to various subsystems like the receivers for the remotes. Let's see, what else is it? The MP3 player and the lights for the dome itself. Anyways, all right, so where did we last left off? We left off at the bus bar. So let's think about how we're going to do this. I have to go to the 5-volt. Okay. Let's get some wire. I'm probably going overkill with using 12-gauge wire for 18-volt system. I could probably get away with using 16-gauge wire, but I'm going to see what it's like. Hopefully I can make this work. All right. I don't know. Is this better? You guys can see more, maybe? I don't know. You can see a little bit closer what I'm doing. Okay, let's get this wire cut. I'm going to need 2 of these. So let's cut 1. Do I cut 2 or do I cut 1? Let's cut 1 for now in case I make a mistake like I did yesterday. All right. Cool. Okay. This is going to go from the 18-volt side to here. Okay. I guess all I need to do is, it's not switched, so all I need to do is put in some ring terminals on either end of this. So what I'll do is I will turn on my trusty little pot here. Maybe I'll keep it like this. You guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to turn this on. All right. As I said yesterday, these wire strippers are amazing. I love them. I can't believe I went 52 years without these in my life. They were like $40 over at Home Depot, and it's a cool sound. Anyway. All right, let's strip these back. So sometimes this is really slippery silicone, and sometimes that happens. So what I'll do is I'll actually put pressure on both the holding anvil and the cutting anvil. There we go. Cool. That's done. Just clean that up a bit. We'll do the same on this side. This is pretty thick wire. I don't know how many conductor is on here. It's probably, I don't know, over 100 strands. Wasn't cheap, but you get what you pay for. All right, let's do that. Nice. That worked out. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on this. One would think that would be hot, but is it? Huh. It's on. It's just, I don't know if it's heating. I wish I had one of those temperature guns, but I don't have one. Oh yeah, it's heating up. I can just feel it. All right, cool. I can wait. So what I also did, I did some prep work. I ended up getting these spade terminal ends, and I modified them a little bit. Let me just hold this up. You guys can see that. I open them up so that it'll receive the 12 gauge wire. They're probably undersized for what I'm using it for, and I'm sure the wire itself is oversized, but you know, you gotta work with what you got. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I also need some more heat shrink for the other side. One. Again, the OCD in me. Make sure these are about the same. 2. 3. And 4. All right. All right. That thing is heating up. I guess it's going to heat up because there's a lot of thermal mass here. Yeah, it's hot enough to melt solder at the tip, but not yet. So I'll just wait it out. What else can I do while I wait? I guess nothing. I'm just gonna have to wait. Let's see here. All right, well, while we wait, I might as well show you something while I wait. And I showed this yesterday during the live stream. This is the Amazon wire. It's PVC jacketed bonded, and it's fairly stiff. And there's not a lot of conductors in here. And like I said yesterday, it work hardens really easily, and it doesn't take much goofing around with the ends of the wires to have them come off. It's trash wire. Like I said, it's good for temporary hookups, but nothing permanent. Okay. Is this thing hot? Oh, nice. All right, cool. All right. So, yeah, she's hot. She's melting. All right, cool. Let's see here if I can. Yeah, I'm a pro at this. All right. We're going to flex this center up. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to dip it real quick. I was tempted to do a second one, but I'm not going to do that. All right. And that's what it looks like afterwards. So again, the other end of the wire. Get some flux, and we'll just, might be a little bit too much flux. All right. All right, cool. All right, that's done. Turn that off so I don't burn myself. All right. Done. Yike. There we go. All right. All right, that's done. Now, got these ring terminals. I'm just going to get rid of the yellow jacket. And actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my large soldering iron. I'm going to turn that on so it's at the ready. Give myself a little bit more room. Okay. While that's heating up, I'll work on this. This one. Two. All right. All right. All right. Get some heat shrink on. Should be up to temperature already. Yep. Cool. All right. I'm just going to heat this up. This is a very old soldering gun. Very old, but it's all I have right now. All right, let's. Cool. That's all it takes. Nice. You know, I'm almost a pro at this. Although a pro wouldn't have lost the other one. Where did the other terminal go? That's weird. Oh, there's a terminal somewhere around here. All right. I lost it. All right. Let's do the other one. Where'd that other terminal go? Oh, there it is. Jeez. All right. All right. Turn that off so I don't burn myself. Cool it down. All right. These turned out a lot better because they are of the appropriate size. All right. Cool. That's done. Okay, now I gotta do these ends. Oh, before I do that, I want to bend these. There. Damn it. What I really should do is bend them before I solder them. That would be the smart move to do. And bending them afterwards. Oh well, you learn. Like Alanis Morissette said, you live, you learn. All right. Now we gotta get these real small ones on here. These are really small. And I probably could do something that's a little bit more appropriate in terms of size, but I don't have anything right now. Again, using 12 gauge wire, like I don't even know what gauge these connectors are. You know, they're really small. Probably overkill, or probably the wire's probably overkill for what I'm doing. Okay. I don't know. I tried getting 14 gauge wire, but they didn't have any, so I went with the next size larger, which is 12 gauge. I probably could have done this all with 16 gauge, but I think all the literature online says to do all the 18 volt systems in I guess 12 gauge, or sorry, 14 gauge. All right, let's see if we can get this guy. Oh yeah, this is going to go well. I'm going to put in a little bit of solder. There we go. And that's the idea. I just want to place it on the spade connector. That seemed to work pretty well. So we'll do the same with the positive side. There. Okay. Cool. That's done. All right. Let's see here. All right, that's not bad. That'll work. All right. Let's get the MCU over here. All right. Let's do this. Okay. Let's see, this will be for the 12 volt side. Maybe what I'll do, I'll connect these. There we go. That seems pretty good. All right. Let's tuck it in. Oh, please don't break. Okay. Nice. Could probably sneak it up a little bit more. Maybe. There we go. Okay. All right. That was not eventful compared compared to yesterday. I'll take that. All right. I'm going to temporarily screw this in. And thread this up. Okay. We're getting there, making progress. Making progress, people. Or whoever's watching. All right. I don't know how people like keep an audience on a YouTube live stream. It's definitely foreign to me, but all right. This seems to be working all right. I think what I'll do is I'll probably end the stream if this is all working. All right, cool. All right, that's in. Yeah, definitely. I need to bend these ring terminals before I solder them because doing it afterwards is really hard. Okay. Power in switched to the bus bars to here. Let's see if this works. Okay. So I'm going to connect my benchtop power supply to power in. Turn it on. 18 volts, please. Thank you. All right. So, in theory, I switch this switch. This should read 5 volts. Boom. Nice. 5 volts. Just like that. You know, this is a lot easier to work on now that all the components have been removed and all the garbage wire has been taken out. This makes it a lot easier. Now all the signal wires are going to still remain in place. I can't really do anything about that, but making progress. All right, well, you know what? Why don't we call this a success? I'll do the 12 volt side, but there's no reason to stay on the live stream for 12 volt side, seeing that it's basically going to be the exact same as the 5 volt side. So, all right, everyone. Thank you.